Right, welcome to UK Casuals and a welcome back to Riaz Khan. My second ever interview. Interviewed Riaz nearly 2 years ago now, mate. So we've exchanged a few Twitter messages, but I haven't seen you for a while. So my first question is, mate, how have you been doing?
All right, mate, not too bad. Just same old, same old. After lockdown was difficult, to be honest with you, because, when you're just isolated from everybody else for 2 years and you get into a routine of being isolated, just get into a routine, just not, I don't know, it's weird because before lockdown, you was always out and about, talking to people and doing the things that you do normally. But since lockdown's finished, it's been a bit of a hard struggle trying to get back into the flow of things, getting back
into the swing of things. Yeah.
I'm getting there again, but it's just, whatever, you know what I mean.
A lot longer than you thought.
Yeah, that's the
yeah. No, it's true, Riaz. Lockdown took a toll on a lot of people, and a lot of people didn't realise psychologically how it would affect them. Not going to work, not being out and about, not going to football.
Yeah.
I mean, just a quick note. I mean, watching football matches without a crowd there was such a strange experience for me.
Bizarre.
But very bizarre. Yeah.
And what UFC without a crowd as well is really weird as well.
I mean, you could hear the players talking and shouting at each other, and it was it was a good insight in one way, but also the old phrase "football without fans is nothing" is never truer. Never truer.
Well, let me interject there. Sorry, mate. I had a nice collection of jackets and stuff. I sold loads of jackets, but I thought to myself, I never hardly wear these jackets. And because I wasn't going out at that time, I was at home. I thought, what's all these jackets? And I started selling them. And now lockdown's over, I'm like, shit, what did I sell those jackets?
You're regretting it.
Yeah. Why did I do that for? But it's too late. It is what it is.
It is what it is. Okay, so last time I interviewed you, it was all about Leicester and the baby squad, and your involvement within it, how you came up, how the name of the firm, of the actual baby squad, actually came about. So today, part 2, we're going to talk about what you've been doing since lockdown. And I've been looking through social media, and you've been quite busy lately, Riaz, to be fair. So we're going to talk about the first magazine you was in, which is called Paninaro Magazine. Now, I do have an issue here. This is not the issue you were in. You were in their latest edition.
Yeah.
So basically, I would just like you to tell me and the viewers how that came about, mate.
Yeah, a lad called Bobby messaged me. I think he's I'm not sure. I think he's Dunfermline or something. I can't. He's a football lad up in Scotland. He contacted me via social media. I wanted to know if I knew some people first they wanted me to contact the guy from CP. So I matched that up with them. Then he goes, "Do you want to do an interview as well for us?" I said, "Yeah, cool. I'd love to," because I thought the magazine. It's a great magazine.
Fantastic.
It is. I love the name Paninaro as well, and it's just and the feel of the magazine. It's not that typical glossy type. Just has that feel, and the photographs and the interviews, and they just look at a broad range of football. They don't just look at the casual era, but they look at the whole thing about football.
The whole series culture,
and about mental health and about other things, fashion and football. It's a great magazine, all-round magazine. It's a top magazine, and they're lovely. I met four of them. Well, I met the photographer. Met what's his name, who you had an interview with. I met another lad does socks. He's got his own label up in Scotland. The Paninaro logo. I forgot the name of the label now. Bloody hell, it's gone out of my head. So I mean, lockdown's done my brain in as well, because I can't even think of myself. He's got his own label. I met 3 of them up north and went to a football match. It was a lower league level game. It was like Liverpool FC versus Manchester United FC. Not the real, just like the
I know what you mean. Yeah.
It was a good game. And I sort of hung around for most part of the day, and they were lovely lads. They really are down to earth. Just nice guys, you know what I mean? And that's how it came about. I mean, they messaged me. I said, yeah, I'll do it. Love to do it. And then, boom, did it. And took photographs of me in Manchester and stuff. And great photos with the graffiti in the background. And
yeah, I've seen them. Yeah, I've seen them. I will include them in this video. So when you did the photo shoot, was there an interview afterwards?
Where? For Paninaro?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just did a little script for them and sent it off to them, and they printed it out. I had to really shorten it down summarize it because they wanted 1,500 odd words, and I went over it, so I had to squash it even more down because I think they left it as it was because the print's quite small. So I think instead of cutting it down. So yeah, I just wrote down how my experience when I first became casual, well, a trendy or whatever you want to call them.
Yeah.
So up until the house scene, just the usual stuff. What my favourite clubber was, and how I got into it, and why I left it, and all the rest of it.
So you said you went over the words because they wanted 1,000+ words, whatever. So yeah. I suppose when you're writing about your life, I suppose starting it can be quite difficult, but once you're into it, you're off. So is it quite hard to scale it down?
Very hard, because you want to get the key points in, but there's so many key points. It's not.
You can't include them all.
It's not that easy. You know what I mean? Because we want to talk about the racism and stuff, and the era of racism and stuff. Because the 80s was, rife with it. Early 80s was rife with racism. So they wanted to get that in there as well in my school life and stuff like that. So it was just really hard because you want to get the key points in, but then you're going to overspill a little bit. It happens. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course. No, I understand. It must be really hard when you're telling your life story to try and squash it down.
Yeah.
1,000+ words sounds a lot, but once you get writing, I suppose it's not. But like I said, with the Paninaro magazine, every issue is sold out. It always does. And like you said, it's an absolutely quality magazine. Like you just mentioned earlier, I've interviewed Charlie McQueen, so please check that out. That will tell you about how the magazine got started, who's behind it, and why it got started, and their inspirations, and so on and so forth. Okay, so then I'm flicking through social media as I do, and I see a thing, CP company, and there's you dressed up to the nines in their top clubber. So take us through that, mate.
I don't know what happened there. That was just bizarre. You wear leather for so many years, for decades, basically. You had that dream that one day, I'll model for that magazine or model for that label and stuff. I wasn't even looking for it. Just some guy popped on my social media on Instagram, messaged me. Ludovicio, his name is. He was like a consultant for CP.
Okay.
He goes, we want our autumn winter promotion. Not promotion. What's the word for it? Brain's got
season.
No, it's a certain word they used. Autumn winter. Not promotion. What's the word I'm looking for? Anyway, whatever it was, right?
Yeah.
And I thought, is this guy winding me up? I said, real. I didn't reckon. I looked at his social media. He had hardly any. He's only put 2-3 posts up. He had about a couple of hundred people following him, and he was following a couple of hundred. And I thought, this guy from CP. I said, you real? He goes, yeah, of course I am. I'm a consultant for CP. We're doing this thing every summer and every winter. That we have people from all over the world who love the label, from different backgrounds, from different ethnicities, from different countries, and we want to promote our model and promote our brand to show that our brand is worldwide. It's not limited. One sort of one type of buyer, which was back in the day. It was us lot that actually bought CP in Stone Island. There wasn't
of course,
It was a lot that used to buy. The casuals that bought it. That's what got the label up to it where it is now, and they'll deny it. But it's a fact, you know what I mean?
Yeah. A lot like Stone Island. Stone Island and CP Company, they don't like like you said, they will deny links with the football culture. But like you said, facts is facts, mate. That's it.
Yeah. I mean, with CP, I mean, I spoke to Ludovic and I said, look, it's because of the football casual. He goes, well, I goes, no, it was definitely the casual movement that did it. He reckons it was from Italy, the Italians brought it up, but they hardly wore it. I mean, there were some that wore it at the Paninaro era, but they didn't wear it for that long because they're always moving fashions, those guys are. Well, we were wearing it 87 onwards up until now. And it became more mainstream, Stone Island did, because of Drake, rappers like that. And yeah. Now, CP, I went to, he contacted me, and I said, yeah, I'm up for it. I was like, it blew my head off. It was during lockdown as well. I was like, yeah, I'll do it. I'll definitely do it. You know what I mean? I was buzzing. I thought, wow, I'm going to be a model for CP. In their campaign, that's the word. AW22 campaign. Sorry, not for much.
Right, okay, yeah.
I mean, in the campaign. So they flew me out, got me a hotel, paid for my flight. I went to the studios and I was posing with a guy called Neil Bedford. He's a photographer. I think he's quite a famous photographer. And he took some photographs of me. And you have to excuse my cat, he's snoring. Can you hear him?
No, it's fine.
Okay, Tottenham won. Anyway, so basically I went to the studio in Milan. It was Fashion Week that week. And it's quite quiet because there was people around, but because it was still lockdown, you had to go green pass to get everywhere.
Right.
To get to all these places, you had to have a green pass. So I was there for like 36 hours and I came back. I took the photographs. They said you can have 3 items of clothing. I said, yeah, Bob's your uncle. I didn't want any money. I didn't care about money. I just wanted to be in there. Wanted to be
yeah, don't blame you.
I didn't want the money. I just wanted the clothing. Just wanted to be a part of it because I've been wearing it since early '88. CP. I wore Stone Island first because that was more, it looked cool Stone because of the badge.
Yeah.
And CP came a little bit afterwards, even though it's been going longer, like from 1972. And Stone Island started in 1982, 10 years before. But for some reason, it didn't hit the mainstream as much as Stone Island until about a few months later, or a year later or so. So I've been wearing it since early 1988. To be in their campaign and being in the top magazines. It's been in what magazine has it been? It's been my brain's gone dead again. It's been in some top magazines anyway. It's been my little write-up as well. Not the other guys, just mine. And I was quite bizarre in my book as well. I was like, there were 6 of us. There was me. There was a young girl called Alina from Manchester. She was she was only 18 at the time. There's a guy who resold trainers. He's 24-year-old millionaire from London. Then there was some skateboarder from France, Holland, some young lad. Then there was who else was there? Guy with puppets. Some puppeteers, something, I don't know. And then there's some rap. But they used my face and my thingy for every single what's the word for it? Every single advertisement they did, they used me, which I was really, proud of and really sort of, took.
Yeah, no, I've seen the pictures on your Instagram and on other social media platforms, and obviously the clobber you're wearing and stuff. You obviously look at the dogs. It's they were really well taken photos, and like you say, you're working for CP Company. It's not too big. They flew you out there. Everything. I mean, the experience must have been absolutely amazing.
It was. And to think, the thing I love about CP Company, it still holds on to its values.
Right.
Now it's become part of Montclair. It's become very commercial, even though they've got some lovely bits. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But CP still holds on to our values. They hold on to the way they create the materials, the way they dye the materials and the fabrics, and the way they go about doing it all. It's just real a family-based organisation. That's what I love about them. And now
even though they're
big,
world famous.
Yeah.
And I suppose it must feel a little bit surreal to you, Riaz, from where you started, seeing those lads walking through the market one day, and you thought, who are these? Want to be like them.
Yeah.
Then you made your way up, made your way into the baby squad. then you wrote your book. Then you had a play in theatres, and then into Paninaro Magazine, and now from CP Company. I mean, you could never have ever thought this would happen to you, could you? You know, from just a young Asian lad fighting on the terraces to what you are now.
Never ever would have thought that. No chance. Especially at my age, my 50s now, and I'm thinking, how did that happen? Still, taken back by it. I'm very humbled by it all as well, because, from being a 17-year-old tearaway to what I am now, 40 years later, to what's happened in that journey, through all the subcultures and all the ups and downs in life, and going back to university and getting a degree, becoming a teacher. Even though I had that background, I still became a teacher, gave back to communities, either work for charity or whether it's just through social media or whatever, trying to bring people together, and also being part of the magazine, CP stuff, being part of Paninaro, which is probably the best magazine at the moment in the UK.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah.
Better than all the other I think of. Especially with some being part of that and being, I still can't get over it.
And I think what I respect you for, Riaz, is you have obviously moved on with your life from what you were as a teenager, which many of us do. But you do not deny your past, and you do not deny your links back to terrace culture and what got you started. And even now, like you said, even though you sold a lot of your jackets, I mean, you've probably still got hundreds, probably.
No, I've still got some, but not hundreds. I wish I had hundreds, because remember the old days, like I said before in the last podcast, we used to be like at eBay, we used to buy jackets, sell them on, and get another jacket with the money that you sold it with, and add a little bit of money on top. That's how it was in those days. Now, if I would have kept all my jackets I had from then I'd have had thousands. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Into the thousands.
But it moves on. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, mate. So we are obviously looking again through social media. I see you went out to Qatar for the World Cup. Now, obviously, the Qatar World Cup had a lot of controversy from the start. It was a break in the season. It wasn't a summer World Cup. So I have interviewed another person from Pompey that went out there. So I would just like to get your overall experience. How was it for you personally, Riaz?
I loved it. I absolutely loved it. The games I went to, the England games, I went to 3 England games.
Right.
It was bizarre because I sat with the away fans. The last game I went to was England versus France, and I sat with French people, and there was 2 English lads in front of me from Birmingham. I could hear the accents.
Right.
Which accent can you? And,
it stands out. Yeah.
I was surrounded by French people and other, locals and stuff. There was no violence. It was just banter. It was just a good laugh. And I was like going, come on, English, standing up. And they was like, shut up, sit down. Right in their French accent. Sit down. So, yeah, whatever. We were starting bantering, cussing each other and stuff. As soon as, what's his name? Mbappe. I remember Mbappe had the ball, and I started to shoot for some reason. I don't know why I started to shoot, because he was quite close to it. I could shoot. And he shot and scored. Not because of me, but he was doing it anyway. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was like, that's how close to it. You just don't realise that you're with, the away fans. You think you're supporting your own team, which because you get sucked into the
get involved with.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
It was like party time outside the ground. People just milling and laughing and joking. I saw so many different cultures, so many different, fans from different places. It was an amazing event for me. I mean, there was not one bit of violence. I didn't see one bit of violence. Now, if that was in Germany or Holland or whatever, it'd be kicking off all the time. Or in France, it'd be violent. You'd be coming out of the ground and scoring off as fast as you can to the place where you're staying or whatever. But there, we was hanging around outside the ground before the game and after the game, going to the souk where the Moroccan fans were dancing till 4 o'clock in the morning because they got through. Yeah, it was an amazing experience. All the transport was free.
Okay.
from ground to, from the tube station, you get to the ground for free. And they were very, the Qataris, you can say what you want. The media can say what they want, slag them off for their for their this and for that and blah, 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 BT issues and stuff. But there was moaning about, they can't be openly gay in the country.
That's right.
Well, you can't be a wife or if someone's their girlfriend, you can't kiss in public out there. A man and woman can't do it because it's their rules.
That's their culture, yeah.
1,500 years, you can't change someone's culture for 1 month and say, right, you're allowed to do this. It's impossible. No. And who are we to impose our culture on another culture?
Exactly right. And if they was to come here, they'd have to expect our culture, and that's I completely agree. One thing I do want to ask you about, when I did interview a lad, he said that the accommodation was bizarre. It was how do you explain it? Those ships on containers.
Yeah. Containers, yeah.
Were they done out really luxury, or was it really basic? Because he said that it wasn't cheap.
No, it wasn't cheap. I heard it's £200 a night or something, but I don't know. I didn't see them because I was staying in someone's. I got my flight paid for me. I got my accommodation paid for me, and most of the time I got my food paid for me. So I didn't see where the England fans were. I went to some of the games where the England fans sort of gathered round to watch games like Brazil versus whoever, the Corniche. In these certain allocations where they can drink alcohol, I didn't go to those places, so I wouldn't know what the England fans. But I did meet loads of England fans out there, and I asked them for their experiences. What do you think so far? I said to them, "Be honest with me. Don't worry about it, because I've got a beard and stuff, and I'm Muslim. Don't worry." I said, "You know what? It's been absolutely amazing. Every single one said amazing. Apart from one person said, "Oh, need more alcohol." I said, "They got the designated areas for the beer anyway." They said it's a bit weird.
So they did have areas if you wanted to go and drink.
Yeah,
because the kind of media coverage over here at the time was no alcohol.
Lying. There's no alcohol allowed in the ground. But there was alcohol in designated places. And they even bent the rules for that because there's no alcohol in that country. Only because it's the World Cup. For 1 month they allowed it because Budweiser
they accommodated.
Yeah, they allowed it because they said, look, we've got fans coming from all over the world. They want to drink. Okay, let's just bend the rules a little just for that month. You go back there now, there's no alcohol there, unless you go to a hotel, so there might be something in the hotels, but generally there's no alcohol allowed, generally, on the streets. Because the World Cup, they bent the rules for the fans.
Anyway, going back to football, and you went to some England games. How do you think England played, mate?
I think they did really well, to be honest with you. Okay, the French game was a bit unlucky because Harry Kane missed the penalty. I was right in front of him. I thought, please score. And he missed it, and I thought... But they played really well. We should be proud of them. They played fantastic.
Yeah, because he scored that first penalty. Now, to me, when he stepped up for the second one, I was thinking maybe someone else should have taken it, but that's all very well in hindsight. And for you to be as close as you was, did he look nervous, or did you think he was going to slot it away?
I thought he looks a little bit apprehensive.
Yeah.
When he pulled down, he was like, shall I, shan't I? What should I? He was like thinking...
Weight the world on his shoulders.
Yeah, he just knew that everything was on his shoulders. There's a lot of pressure on the guy, because guys still could have been a different game.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely.
The referees were dirty bleeders. I tell you, the referee, oh my day, the referee in that game was just atrocious as well. That could have been... You know what? We blatantly saw it in our eyes. That was a foul. The referee. It wasn't a foul. The referee gave a free kick to France, for example. It felt like to me it was a bit of a. I wouldn't say set up or it was biased. Definitely biased because I think they wanted. There's this conspiracy theories going around saying that they wanted Messi versus Mbappe.
That's right. Yeah.
Country team, so PSG. They wanted the finals.
Stars of it all. Yeah.
Final, you get what I mean, but. Yeah, England did really well. Proud of them.
Did really well. All right, just before we finish up, there's been over here, even before the World Cup, there was a massive debate on Gareth Southgate. What's your opinions, mate?
He's all right. I think he's all right. I've just given him some time. He's done all right. Look, we got to the finals of the Europeans. We got to the quarterfinals of the World Cup. When's the last time we did that? 1990. We got to the semi-finals in 1990, I think it was, wasn't it?
Yeah, Italian 90, yeah.
And we've done very well since then, have we?
No, nothing.
And the way we played in Qatar, we played excellent. We got to the quarterfinals. Okay, France are obviously a slightly better team. There's no doubt about it. They are a better team.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
We did well against them. So I mean, there's no shame in that. And I think Southgate's got his head screwed on because he's made a few mistakes, as you do as a manager. But give him some time. Who's going to replace him? Come on, it's going to be no one's going. Then he's going to chop and change it and mess it around a bit. But he's doing all right. He's a clued up fellow, and I think he's going to get us quite far if we leave him to it.
I mean, I don't know. You've probably noticed. I was doing a podcast called Talk from the Terraces, and it was running weekly. And every week we had a story that a different manager was getting sacked every week.
Yeah.
I mean, Thomas Tuchel from Chelsea. I don't know why he got the sack. He done really well. There was others getting sacked left, right, and centre. It just seems to me there's so much money involved in football now. These managers aren't getting time to bed in.
Yeah. Happened to Sven-Göran Eriksson at Leicester. 8, 9, I think it was 9 or 10 weeks he was there. And they got rid of him. What the hell? And they got rid of Ranieri. I thought he won the Premier League and they got rid of him. I thought, what the hell are they doing? Because he wasn't.
Yeah.
Give the guy, he's done something in the first time in our history, in 132 years, we won the Premier League because of Ranieri. Let's not beat around the. You know what I mean? And then the second season we had him with, coming into the season after, and because his mum was ill, 18-year-old mother was ill, he was going to Italy to go and visit her every week because she's ill. She was dying, basically.
What are you going to do? Yeah, of course.
Your mum. Yeah. Come on, have some mercy on the guy. And he kept back, and because the caretaker manager, Shakespeare, did, he kept messing around the formations because he wanted to take over himself. That's what he was.
He had his own agenda. Yeah,
exactly. And cocked everything up. We got the players to go against Ranieri. They went up to the chairman and his son, and they started moaning about Ranieri. And they got rid of him. And they should never have got rid of him. Never ever. In my opinion, probably the best manager we've had. But
I did ask you this last time, but I will ask you again because obviously COVID, fans are back watching football, watching games without crowds there was really bizarre. How do you feel about modern football overall? Is it getting better? Is the atmosphere getting better? Or what's your experience to that, Riaz?
In the old days, it was better because you can just get away. You can shout, you can moan, you can swear, you can do what you want and give the referee abuse and whatever. Modern day football now, everybody's sitting down. Apart from the away fans, they all stand up, and they're the loudest standing up. They're the loudest, and they sing all the way through the games. All the home games I've been to, the away fans are the loudest. They sit right opposite me, sort of thing, in the corner. Your home fans will only sing every now and then because we're sitting down, we're more subdued.
Right, okay.
Standing up, you can get more people in, and you're standing up, and you want to be lively, don't you? Because you're just bouncing around, being lively, and then
it's got that adrenaline going through you and stuff.
Or when you're sitting there, it's like, oh, come on. When you're standing up, it's like, yeah. And the way fans stand up, and then all the way through the games, especially Arsenal yesterday, they're just bouncing, singing, bouncing, shouting, all the way through the game. And it's a better atmosphere in that sense for the away fans. For the home fans, compared to how it was in the old days, I prefer the old days.
You prefer the old days. Okay, we'll leave it there. It's been great to talk to you again. Brilliant, Riaz. Obviously, the first interview was just under 2 years ago, so it's been really good to talk to you again. Find out how it went, in the magazines and CP company, and going to the World Cup. It's been really interesting to talk to you, and I thank you for coming on again. So that's been Riaz Khan, and there'll be more videos coming from UK Casual soon.